Hi, welcome back, and thanks so much for checking out my site. So anyway, I want to start working on, and actually I made the video in 6/8 time, kind of before I made this video, and kind of realized in the middle of it that I kind of need to make this video on dotted rhythms. Dotted rhythms. Okay, so what we have in music, there are really two types of dots on notes, and I do want to just start out with by sort of showing you the differences between notes or between dots on notes. So the first way, let me just say we're in 4/4 time. The first way is really something that we shouldn't be covering for. We shouldn't be covering until the third unit, which or the third chapter. Which, if you remember at the beginning of this playlist, I kind of said we're going to divide this up into three chapters. We're going to have the first chapter is going to be all about rhythm. The second chapter is going to be all about tones and what pitches you play and stuff like that, or how I know if you should be playing an A or a G or what or whatever. And then the third unit was going to be on pretty much everything else you need. So how loud you should play, how you should articulate it, whether you should strike something really hard, or you should if you should play something really short, or you should play it really long and connected, and kind of nice and what we would call legato. So anyway, this first type of dot that we're going to talk about, and I do want to just sort of differentiate between the two because they can be a little confusing if you see one but don't see the other to start out with. The first type of dot would go like this. Have a dot there, a dot there, a dot there, and a dot there. And we'll cover this more in I guess a future video, but these dots are called staccato dots. Staccato. Actually, I think there might be two C's in this. Staccato. I don't know. I shouldn't do that. One sec. Let me actually look it up. Sorry, I'm going to waste a little bit of your time. Staccato. Yeah, two C's. Sorry about that. I always use Google as my spell checkers, so these types of dots are called staccato. And the musical definition of staccato is to play these short or detached. I don't want to actually know what short is not the way you should think about it. Don't necessarily think, and you'll hear your band director will definitely say play staccato notes shorter, and that is true on a level. Really, the way I want you to think about playing staccato notes, though, is play them detached. And what do I mean by that? Well, it kind of means if I have, let's say, I'm going to show you the inverse of staccato, which is legato. And that is if I have 1, 2, 3, 4 quarter notes, and instead of those dots, I'll just do this in yellow for right now, just to avoid the monotony of white. Instead of the dots, I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to put lines under the notes like that. And what that means is that there's no space in between these notes. So if I was going to play this example down here, and I'll actually write down here, this is legato, which we'll call connected notes. It sounds like this. Da, 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 da. You hear there's not really any space in between those notes. It just goes one to the other. Da, 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 da. However, if I do this example up here, this staccato example, you're going to hear lots of space. Da, 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 da. Okay? You can hear how they're detached from one another. There's lots of what we would call daylight. There's lots of actual silence in between these notes. So here we go again. Da, 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 da. Okay? So that's what staccato is. And I just wanted to show this to you because this is one of the types of dots that we'll see. And what staccato, or one of the things I do want to say about staccato, is staccato doesn't affect anything about the value of this eighth note. It's, yes, we're playing this eighth note and all these eighth notes. Yes, we're playing it detached. It changes a little bit of how we would play it, but it doesn't change the value of the note. It doesn't change. So if we say that eighth note is equal to 120 beats per minute, we can still fit just as many staccato eighth notes into the same minute. So if we had a staccato marking a staccato dot under that eighth note, it's the same thing. It doesn't change the value. However, the second type of dots, and if you remember at the beginning of this video, I said that there were two types of dots that we were going to talk about. This is the first type, the staccato. But the type of dot that I really want to concentrate on is the second type. Just erase all of that. So, and I'll keep my 4-4 there. So, if you remember, the staccato, where did the staccato marking go? Went below the note, right? Like that. Or, I guess, also, if we had, and hopefully you remember the beginning, we talked about how stems can go up or down. I know I've been writing most of my stems going up. But staccato marking can also go on top of the note, like that. Where the dotted rhythm, the rhythmic dot goes, is beside the note, like this. That's where a dotted rhythmic value dot goes. And let me actually just circle this, because now I want to explain what a dotted rhythm is, kind of. And let me actually erase that time signature, because I don't want to get confusing right now. What a dot does to a note is if we have a note, so if we have a quarter note, if we have, let's just make this a little bit more abstract. If we have something, and then we put a rhythmic value dot next to it, we get that same something plus an additional half of whatever that something was. So, here's just a kind of an abstract example. So, say I have $1, or that's not a dollar sign. Sorry about that. Okay, so say I have $1. But then I take this $1 and I put our rhythmic value dot next to it. Well, then what do I have? If I have that rhythmic value dot next to it, well, I still have my original dollar. So I still have that. But I add to it 1/2 of a dollar. So what is 1/2 of a dollar? Well, it's 50 plus 50 cents, which is 1/2 of that dollar. So all in all, I have $1.50. So anyway, that's kind of a little bit of an abstract example. Oh geez, I'm running out of time. Hopefully, please follow me in the next video. I'll explain this a little bit more and how it relates to notes. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.